Renee Burrows with Renee Burrows Design, and today we are talking all about containers. We all have that white button-down shirt that's classic, it goes with everything. Well, hydrangeas are that classic button-down shirt. We've seen them in many different ways, many different colors, but it's kind of that quintessential southern flower. Of course, it's available all throughout the Northeast as well, but in the South, it just seems to scream the richness of Southern hospitality. Well, that's what we're talking about today. We can take a simple white hydrangea or a blue or a pink or any shade that they come in, and we can translate that into your style based on container shapes that you've chosen. And we're just going to look at a couple of different perspectives, I should say, in what we're talking about here today. We've shown here a basic hydrangea in a dressy sterling silver container. We can see how that would work with a more upscale, chic look, but we've taken a little bit of vining and added it in. It gave a softness to it. It expands the perceived scale of this. And what's fun is with this sterling silver, you could even bring in what we refer to as satellite arrangements. And I'm going to steal some from over here just to give you a perspective. How pretty, added in with a little bit of crystal. Vintage crystal that really brings that heirloom feeling to everything will bring you to the perspective of, several different layers that you can do on your centerpiece. But two, let's talk about the consideration of going with something like the mint juleps. Again, the Kentucky Derby is showing us the mint juleps all the time. We'll tuck that over there. You can even take something and do a complement to it. And we're going to take this, dismantle this pretty little guy, and show you, again, a satellite arrangement with just two in the design, and how pretty that grouping would be as a centerpiece. You can do a little bit of trim work. We've added pearls here at the base, or you can leave the traditional size and style of the mint julep in and of itself. A grouping with some candles, and it'd be beautiful. But again, almost a bit dressy. What's fun is you can take this dressy concept. The flower is utilitarian. It goes with everything. You can do your color, your style, but the style is really brought out by the containers that you're working with. Bringing in the milk glass. So many people love working with the milk glass. It's very classic in what we have seen in styling coming out recently. Again, a satellite design referring to more than one piece. Very simple, very pretty. We've complemented it with the beading and some little ribbon work with buttons. Such a pretty look, very simple to work with. Very simple to style with. You could even bring in some vintage lace down around the bottom if you have something like that, or little votives to go with it to complement. Just very, very easy. So thinking about taking something and dressing it up or dressing it down depending on the accessories that you're working with. Here we've shown the milk glass, but back to a very simple classic. We showed it a moment ago with the mint juleps, but bringing it in with a different container gives us a very different feel. The clear glass does not marry us to the white color palette, but it's a simple combination that you can do like that. So we've looked at the dressy end of things. Let's talk about the casual end of things, because I think a lot of times we feel we have to do either or, but we're going to look at this. We have taken dressy crystal, and we've talked about crystal right here. We've taken dressy crystal and done trim work with the twine. Same thing, a vintage bottle with a little touch of twine, adding in the leaves, and yet again, a touch of twine. So somehow along the way, we've gone from dressy to very relaxed and casual. It's a combination that you can work with anytime, but bringing in something that is more refined, like the crystal, and bringing in the twine to go with it, gives you that relaxed look. Something that would be comfortable in an outdoor setting, something that would be comfortable with burlap table linens. And what if we brought in maybe grandmother's doily? simply added, it adds another layer to the table design that you might not have thought about. So always think about heirloom pieces that you might have to work with, and then combining layers with your table linens as well. This is a fun piece that I love, and we're really going in the direction of rustic now. Something like this can be created, brought in with even some more height. But the burlap table linen would look beautiful with the birch table design. Centerpiece that changes, and yet still the hydrangea is that classic flower. So many people love it. Some people find it very formal, some people find it very casual. But it can be brought in several different looks to create the style that really speaks to your look and your design. We're also talking about wooden boxes. Simple, pretty, elegant, just real casual to who you are. Just feeling as though you've gone out into the garden and gathered flowers. Obviously they're done and prearranged and designed, but feels as though you've gone out into the garden and gathered them. You certainly can in the South. The height of the season, we have hydrangeas everywhere, and it is beautiful. But right now, this is May. This is March. We are getting them from California right now. They also come from South America, so they can be shipped in from all over the world, just depending on the time of year that you're working with them. How sweet, in a wonderful little planter box that has a copper verdigris finish. Something so basic. Changing the style does not have to mean changing the look or changing the flower. Bringing in vines can add to even more scale of what you're working with. So something like that is easy to work with, easy to consider, but we want to show you, of course, the mason jar. Everybody understands that the mason jar is tradition come back to circle. We're looking at several different sizes, and the thing we want to talk about here is proportion. Obviously, if you're doing several different tables, you can work with proportional scale, and everything falls apart easily. Obviously, when we prepare them for events, they're not this loose. But putting them in with a grouping gives you a very rich fullness in scale. Now, obviously, this size container is much larger than our quart size that we're quart size that we're working with. So the quart size has been decorated with a little bit of lace, a little detail, and this is more proportion to maybe 2. Even 1 would be beautiful with it. But you can see that this scale, let's work with this one. This scale is more appropriate than putting 3 in the larger piece. But the twine detail really takes that southern feel. Mason jars have been around forever, and really the origination of it is Mom's kitchen. Moms and grandmoms all across the country would break out the mason jars when the grandkids brought in flowers cut from the field or cut from the yard, and it's something that everybody works with. Everybody has, but the nostalgia of it all and the heirloom feel of it has really brought us back to it to consider for what we're doing. We love this piece. This piece actually has history. Now let me get this to you correctly. Our groom cut these from a tree that he grew up playing under. And it fell during a storm here, and they cut them and they hollowed them out and used them as arrangements, vases for their arrangements in their wedding. We loved working with these, and they sold them to me afterwards. I was very excited. They've kept some for themselves, but the fun of it all is you can work with this, and again, I don't have it quite nestled in right, but you can work with something like this that gives you a little bit of fullness and a little bit of scale in a very, very rustic look. They can pair these with crisp white linens. You can pair them with lace. You can even have clusters of moss down around the base. So lots of different things to work with in how you arrange your design style. And it really is going to be based on your look and your feel. We've even worked with boxes where we take the rustic elements and bring in height and levels to work with your table pieces in several different scales. Something that you would want to do if you want to bring in the rustic and tie it in with the more natural and the more refined. So elevating pieces. Anytime you elevate an arrangement, it gives it more presence. Obviously something very small in scale and stature, but it gives it more presence when you started to add these extra elements with it. We could do the same thing by nestling a few more on the back side. And also too, these are really great when you consider if you're going to do a banquet style. Banquet style is where the table is very elongated. Sometimes people refer to it as family style. Banquet style and family style are great when you do an elongated combination of mix and match. Put in some height, really bring things down. Imagine we have some more flowers in here. You can mix the milk glass with the crystal and bringing in a touch of fullness with all of them. It's something that can easily be done, easily added. And when you're working with your florist, it's fairly inexpensive. We have a great collection here, but you can start your own collection. Find what you love. Take them to your florist and say, how can we work with these pieces? What can we do to incorporate these? These are special to us. This look really speaks to who we are. So as a couple, define your style with containers. It's not just about the flowers. The flowers are very versatile. They can go in any design style and any look. But define who you are. It's your real wedding for your real life. ReneeBurrowsDesign.com